Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, every day that passes by, I honestly really do feel like the possibility of us ever seeing Canelo taking on David Benavidez just seems to be a little bit more impossible. And the reason why I say that is because of this tweet that we saw today from Ring Magazine, from an interview that they did a couple of days ago from Canelo Alvarez. It says, when somebody approaches you like that and calls you out like that, you don't need to give them any money. And of course, he's talking about David Benavidez. Now, in my honest opinion, before we go ahead and talk about this situation, I do think that Canelo is a great champion. I think that he's a good ambassador for the sport of boxing. And I think that he's a great role model to look up to, in my honest opinion. But I really do think that Canelo Alvarez should consider fighting David Benavidez at some point. I mean, he does say that he's looking to retire by the age of 38 years old. I think this year he's going to be turning 35. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the window is probably going to close for the possibility of this fight ever taking place, but we're going to go ahead and react to the video from this specific quote. Let's go ahead and bring up that video right now.
Look, something you said to me a while ago really resonated. You said basically, if somebody's going to disrespect me, I don't want to punish them in the ring and beat them up and say, hey, here's, all this money, because everyone always makes their career high payday facing you, right?
Yeah, you're right.
How much of the way David Benavidez approached you with disrespect as you saw it was a reason for that you didn't want to fight him?
Yeah, it's at this point I fight with everybody, with every champion, with all the best out there, and when somebody approach you like that and call you out like that, you don't need to give them money. So, and like I say, I can do whatever I want now, and just I don't like that way he approached for taking the fight.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about both point of views because I think in context to what Canelo is saying is very important to go over. But let's go ahead and talk about David Benavidez's point of view because in my honest opinion, I really don't think that it's that much of a paycheck. I feel like it's more of a legacy type thing because for all the reasons that I listed in the beginning of the video, Canelo being a great champion, him being a great role model and a great ambassador for the sport. Obviously, if you take down someone like Canelo, you become pretty much a who's who in the sport. And I really already think that David Benavidez is one of those fighters that's a who's who in the sport right now. He's doing great things, putting on great performances, very entertaining fighter. But I honestly do think that from his point of view, this is more of a legacy type fight. It's not really about the money. Obviously, he's going to get paid, but it's not really about the money. I think it's more about a legacy type thing from his point of view. But from Canelo's point of view, I could definitely understand where he's coming from, because if, you're Canelo's opponent, you're his business partner at the same time, at least for a very short amount of time. You know what I'm saying? Up to 12 rounds, you are his business partner. So I get it. Canelo doesn't want to give David Benavidez literally life-changing money, even though David Benavidez is already paid. A fight with Canelo would definitely be like millions, a lot of them, a whole lot of them. And I understand why Canelo doesn't want to give David Benavidez that paycheck because of the antics that, of course, we all know that David Benavidez has done in the past. But at the same time, it kind of does sound weak. It sounds weak as fuck for Canelo to say some shit like that. Like, what is David Benavidez supposed to say? Sir, can we please fight? Like, come on. I understand where Canelo's coming from, but come on, bro. Come on. Okay, so in this portion of the video, they start talking about Terrence Crawford. Of course, we all know that fight is probably getting finalized and is going to get announced pretty soon. It's going to be taking place this September. But there's going to be some very important details that we need to go over because he's pretty much saying a lot without saying a lot. But we're going to go ahead and break this down because there is a lot of carnival talk. But let's go ahead and watch this clip.
Do you think Terrence Crawford is approaching you in the proper way?
I think he's wanted the fight and doing respectful. I want Canelo. No, nothing bad saying bad things about
Right.
me or whatever, no. But like I say, you never know too. You never know too. Maybe someday I wake up and I say I want to be that guy, right?
Yeah, and look, you've earned this. You've earned this right.
Yeah.
With all you've done for the sport, you're the face of boxing. There's no
Yeah.
question about that.
Yeah.
And I understand you've earned this respect. So you give respect for everyone. You're a respectful guy, and you want respect back.
Yeah. I always respect my opponents and every single fighter, every single people. Obviously, if they don't, okay, it's different, no. But yeah, I always try to respect people, respect the fighters, respect my opponents. I'm not that kind of guy. I never go into a fight or into bad things about with people. But if somebody disrespect me, that's different.
Yeah, and look, you're 34 now, but when you were on the way up, and when I say on the way up, you were still a big star. You understood your place, right?
Yeah.
Mayweather was the bigger name when you fought him, and you showed respect, right?
Yeah.
And I think the way you're probably approaching your matchups now and the way you pick your fights is different.
Yeah.
When you were on the way up, proving yourself, you took on Mayweather. You agreed to, a catch weight, a rehydration clause. You gave up all the concessions. Now you're in a different position.
Yeah. When you're in that position, you need to do it, because if you want something big, you need to fight for it, right? You need to fight for the position, and I think I did that with all the fights that I have in my career. If you see my record, is just something else, because I fought with everybody, all the championships, all the world champions. For 14 years in the first level, so I think I deserve this position.
Yeah, and look, one thing I always say that you don't get enough respect and credit for is you fought a lot of guys when they brought very little to the table and they were dangerous, kind of high risk, low reward fights, right? Austin Trout, Arizona De Lara, southpaws with tricky styles that nobody was really asking for those fights, and you took on challenge anyway.
Very difficult fights. Yeah, very difficult fights, and plus I don't need it in that moment.
Okay, so some very important details happened in that little conversation between Canelo Alvarez and the interviewer. They talked about Terence Crawford, and how, Terence Crawford is, pretty much quote unquote fighting for it, right? Because as we all know, Canelo Alvarez is pretty much having a no rehydration clause with Terence Crawford. So pretty much what that means is that Canelo could come in that fight on fight night with pretty much coming in weighing as much as he wants, pretty much. With that being said, he's pretty much staying without saying it. But if David Benavidez wants a fight with Canelo Alvarez, he's gonna have to agree to certain things. You know what I'm saying? He's pretty much saying that he's on the A side, and if David Benavidez pretty much wants to fight with Canelo, he is gonna have to fight on his terms. He's gonna have to fight on his terms. So he said a whole lot in like 3 minutes without saying it. They even talked about the Canelo Alvarez versus Mayweather fight, and how Canelo Alvarez had to agree to certain things to get the fight with Mayweather. He's pretty much alluding to the same exact thing. So Canelo Alvarez here is saying pretty much that if David Benavidez wants to fight with him, he's going to have to agree to certain things in a contract. Like I've been saying throughout the entire video, I think that Canelo does have a point. I think that David Benavidez has a point. But I will say it kind of does sound a little suspect, because I think that this is just gaslighting a lot of fans into thinking ethically and respectfully that you always have to be respectful to get, a good matchup. Yet Canelo just fought Berlanga, and Berlanga was disrespecting Canelo literally the entire time. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's just a kind of hypocritical, in my honest opinion. But I get what Canelo is saying with the whole respectful thing. He does have a point, with him being on the A side. Yes, he does have a point at the end of the day. But so does David Benavidez. I think, in my honest opinion, David Benavidez should bite the bullet, and understand that he is on the B side and get this fight done. This fight is a fight that needs to happen. Like I said, Canelo doesn't have the the widest window. You know what I'm saying? He is 35 this year, I think. So that leaves maybe 3 years of potential matchups. The older he gets, the less possibilities of this fight going down. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think about what Canelo said in this interview. As always, it's a pleasure. Peace out and have a good one.